Hello, and welcome to Handled Ish Productivity for the Imperfect, a weekly podcast for those who want to elevate their productivity but are not looking for perfection. I'm your host, Betsy Hayes, and I am so glad you're joining me from Podcast Land or on YouTube. This is episode 36 Choose Accuracy over Speed. In this era of information overload and lightning fast Wi Fi, it is easy to get caught up in the, pardon the pun, speed trap. It is so easy to be fast. And frankly, anyone can now be fast. So being fast is no longer special like it used to be. Accuracy, on the other hand, is still special and becoming increasingly rare because of all of this increased pressure to be first and fastest. By slowing down, we can all rework our personal culture to choose accuracy over speed. And this allows you to make fewer mistakes, redo less, do less in general, and make your whole life a whole lot easier. So here's some tips on how to choose accuracy over speed. Number one, reread your text and emails before sending. How many of us, myself included, have had to send an additional text, correcting a typo, an additional email, correcting a mistake? That is not efficient, nor, frankly, does that help, build whatever our personal or professional brand is. So let's reread our text, reread our emails before hitting send, and try to minimize those mistakes. Again, choosing accuracy over speed. If you are writing something, you can let a draft sit before you edit it. And that is the best possible way to get better editing. And then after you edit, you can let it sit some more, and then you can edit again. And frankly, when something's really important, maybe proofread it in hard copy and not on the screen. Print it out. Speaking of proofreading, reading aloud when you proof is a great way to catch mistakes. So is having an additional pair of eyes, looking at critical items prior to distribution. Think about that voicemail you want to leave before you pick up the phone. I'm just really encouraging all of us to slow down a bit, double check things, and we can all establish a reputation for getting things right the first time, something that will make us stand out in the best possible way. Mistakes do happen, excuse me, and that's fine. But if you're constantly resending emails and documents with a subject line that says something like corrected version, you really need to take this advice to heart. One of my students a few years ago was looking for a cartoonist for an event that we were having. And so he put an ad in an online forum and unfortunately forgot to include a digit in his phone number. So instead of 7 digits, it only had 6. Or with the area code, I guess it was 9 instead of 10. But unfortunately, no one could get a hold of him to, say, I'm a cartoonist and I'd love to do this. And because this was a campus event, somehow someone on campus realized that this student was associated with me. And so the message got back to me that there was this mistake and people were trying to get a hold of him. And it was just this big mess. And obviously by that time, a lot of people knew of the mistake. And that, of course, was no fun. So needless to say, double check things, make sure your entire phone number is there or your email is not misspelled, and all of that kind of stuff. Choosing accuracy over speed is just fantastic as far as a productivity hack. Your mistakes are remembered far longer than how long it took someone to receive your information. So that's this week's Handled Ish challenge. I really like this idea that we're having. This week, as we go about our week, let's do the things to be more accurate than fast. That doesn't mean we have to be slow. That just means that we are going to prioritize accuracy over speed. So I'd love to know how this is going for you. And thanks for joining me. As always, I love to hear what you think at Betsy Hayes on social, betsyahays.com on the internet, my website. And be sure to tune in next week for the next episode of Handled Ish Productivity for the Imperfect. Until then, take care, be kind to yourself because you are doing way better than you think you are. Trust me.